morning. This is Mr. Tuna, soon to be Dr. Tuna.
Good morning.
We discussed that last time, Mr. Christopher Tuna. And I'm Dr. Kim Byrd-Rider, and you are a hospital clinical dietitian in the hospital here.
I am.
And I'm a physical therapist in the hospital here, and it is 6 a.m.
Yeah.
because and all these are at 6 a.m. because we have to go to work just like you do at 8.
That's right. You make things fit around your schedule where you can.
That's right, and I think this is really important to both of us, and that's why we're getting up to see you at 6. We have to get up at 4:35 to be here, but we want to be here because
Yes, absolutely.
this is so important. I'm giving this to so many of my patients
Yeah.
because I can't. You see somebody, you have a 30-minute window to treat them, and
Right.
you can't explain all this stuff in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of times, if you have follow-up questions, I mean, you have the opportunity to ask us things that are on your mind, following things up. So yeah, this is great.
Absolutely. How are you doing with your diet? We're on week
Yeah.
6. We pre-record some of these in advance, but we are. It's Wednesday, the day after Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And this is going to post in 2 days, so we are literally at week 6 today.
Oh, good. Okay.
And so we should be at 10.2 pounds at this point. Have you made it?
I have. I went from 285 to I'm at 275.
Good for you.
So yeah, so I just.
Oh, we're supposed to just hit it,
Yeah.
but we're supposed to hit it right on the. Yeah, so have I. I'm like 10.5 exactly. No more, no less. That's our big saying here, right?
Yeah.
Get on the treadmill 20 minutes. No more, no less.
Yeah.
Eat your 200 calories. No more, no less.
I've been hitting the weights a little bit harder just because that's what I love. Sometimes you find something that you just love to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be yoga, whether it be hiking, whether it be weight training versus cardio. You find something that you love to do, that moves your body, that keeps you physically active. So.
And I'm
that's the
finding that
important
it's getting
thing.
easier. And I'm wanting to do it. And along those lines, on the weekends, sometimes I want to go for a long walk and get on the treadmill, and because I'm so used to every day, every morning at about 7:30 after we finish with whatever video I'm doing, then I hit that treadmill for 20 minutes. So on the weekends at 7:30, I'm like, I need to walk.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to walk.
And hitting those goals every week, how does that make you feel about
So
yourself?
much. That's so great. That's so great. And it's not even the goals, it's my pants.
Yeah. That's what's making you feel great about yourself.
And this shirt, honestly, I didn't put this shirt on purpose. This is all this is spontaneous at 6 a.m. But I used to wear a shirt under this shirt. I'm telling you, 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
I always wear a shirt under this shirt because it didn't button up all the way to the bottom because it wouldn't cross my derriere on the very bottom button.
True story. So number one,
Yeah.
I officially made it to the next loop of my belt.
Yay!
Officially. And number two, I have to buy some new workout pants because some of the ones are getting a little too loose to run in nowadays. So.
Yeah, and the crotch gets low. My ski pants are getting like that. We have to wear ski pants wherever we go here, right?
Yeah.
When you leave the hospital, you better have your ski pants on just to get to the cab.
Right.
It's cool. It's -6 this
Yes.
week, -10 with a wind chill of -40.
Yeah.
So your ski pants are kind of loose to begin with, but now the crotch is starting to hang so low in my ski pants. It's like rubbing across the inside of my. I'm like, I've got to go down a size in ski pants.
Right.
Anyhow, well, that is a great lead into today's subject, which is body image.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you love this topic.
Yeah. So, body image is a huge, topic. A lot of the reason why people come to me voluntarily. See, that's the kind of the key. People who typically seek out nutritionists, dietitians, and do so voluntarily, are typically trying to lose weight, trying to either become healthier or modify their body image. And as we know, in our society, women tend to be more susceptible to body image issues versus men, just because of societal
Targeted.
Right. Unrealistic.
Well, we're money makers.
Right.
We spend money
That is
on
very
this subject.
That is very true.
So they hit us hard with it.
So there's a lot of things that go into that. Not only just how you feel about how your body looks, but just how you feel in general about how you are. And that's why I asked you, how does it make you feel when you are hitting your goals every week? Because that's part of it too. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to feel good about how you look, and you also want to feel good about how you are as a person. So not only meeting your goals and changing your body composition and kind of seeing how you're changing in the mirror, the incredible shrinking man or woman, but also the incredible sense of pride and accomplishment that you feel from actually sticking with it. They're almost symbiotic in that way. So very, very important. But in my practice, I get asked about it a lot, and usually I talk about what your goals are, and that's one of the first steps in the process is those little small steps, getting to your goals week after week, and kind of going on from there.
Do you think we have a contorted body image, like?
Yeah.
Or maybe not even. It's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be Twiggy, or most people don't know Twiggy anymore. She's a model in the 60s. But that uber thin, I don't even have that body shape. There's
Right.
different body shapes, right?
Mhm.
There's more of the...
Yeah, so there's apple shapes, pear shapes. Some are healthier than others, and some are more susceptible to certain or developing certain disease states than others. People, you think of pear shapes where people have more adipose tissue, more fat tissue around their hip area. Increasing your waist to hip ratio is one of those things that is puts you at risk for CVD, cardiovascular disease, things like that. But some people simply don't have the genetics, to achieve what their ideal perception of how they want to look is. A lot of that goes into how fat is dispersed around our bodies. Not everybody. My biggest issue personally is abdominal fat. A lot of other parts of my body stay fairly lean as I gain weight.
You
But
see that in most men.
yeah,
Really.
yeah, and women tend to have issues. Sometimes I get asked about underarm areas or things like that. And it's important to remind people that spot reducing isn't necessarily a thing. It's more.
Don't you love that?
Right, exactly. So just because
I just want to lose it right here.
Right, exactly.
Like that's impossible.
Yeah, we can't really do that. What we can do is we can firm up certain areas to make the skin tauter, make it more. That's what when we're talking about body composition. But it's really important when we're talking about body image that we keep realistic goals. Okay, because if we're kind of looking into magazines for what we want to look like, it's it can be very depressing, and it can actually be counterproductive. Because the more you work, you kind of realize the more unrealistic those goals are, and it can really make us feel down, make us feel bad about us, and become counterproductive and make us kind of quit or give up. So having realistic goals is really, really important, and focusing on health is much more,
I was just
much
going to
more
say that's a
practical.
very superficial view of things,
Absolutely.
but everybody has it.
Absolutely.
I'm not acting like I'm all that and they're superficial. We all have this superficial of
Yeah.
it's about the way I look in the mirror, and it's not about the way you look in the mirror. Always remember, beauty
Right.
is in the eye of the beholder.
Absolutely.
And we all know people that we've met that would be put in the category of not so beautiful, but after you know them, they're the most beautiful person you've ever seen. And then also people that are Barbie and Ken, gorgeous, and they're not so pretty after a couple of months.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't see what you see in them. They're not that beautiful.
Yeah,
because it's inside.
it's difficult to wear your health on your sleeve, and that's what people want to do. People want to show off their hard work.
Yeah.
People want to this I go to the gym every day, and and this is the fruits of my labor.
Right.
It's you it's difficult to go to work in the morning and show off how clean my arteries are, and how
Or for us even to see it.
right, exactly, or how awesome my blood glucose is today. It's so amazing.
I had
But
so much fiber this week, can't you
right,
tell?
right. But focusing on longevity, and you brought up a really good point as far as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and how you truly should feel like you are the most beautiful person.
That's right.
You
And
know?
we are the beholder, really.
Right, exactly, and
It's not about people looking at us. It's about how it should come from the inside.
yeah.
I should never say the word should, but
But I've been in those situations where if you have a really hard time accepting yourself at a heavier weight, you're still going to have a hard time accepting yourself at a smaller weight. And I've experienced that too. I've been over 300 pounds, and then if I just
Really?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of there it's really difficult to and also I was very into powerlifting, so I was walking around very very big. I was benching 400 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. But
we're learning more and more about you
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time, Mr. Christopher.
I'll show you some pictures. I used to have long hair past my shoulders and everything. I was a wild child.
Oh my gosh, send them to me and I'll put them in this video.
Okay.
I'll put them. I can insert.
All right. But I've had those thoughts where if I just lost 50 pounds, all my problems would just disappear. But work. But self-image and body acceptance is really something that you should always be working on, and not just put off until until you've lost that weight. Work on it now. Work on it every single day. What I started doing, and sometimes, and I'm not from Bethel. I'm from New York.
Mr. New York.
Right, exactly. So, it's been, difficult the past month. I've been a little bit homesick, and
Yeah.
we've been on this dieting journey,
Yeah.
this weight loss journey. So, things can become very stressful. So what I actually started to do last week is, so I walk past my fridge on the way out the door.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I started to write little affirmations on the fridge before I go to bed. I write something on the fridge so that when I'm walking out the door in the morning, I can see it, I can read it, remind myself of either I'm in control or I love myself or something like that. And you see that right when you walk out the door, and it just kind of it really does put you in a good mindset that day. If you can, before you walk out that door, remind yourself, you know what, I have this affirmation today. Every time I feel stressed out or I feel bad about myself or something like that, or I feel like, you want to be somebody else, you think about that, and yeah, it's just a little bit of self-love,
We've been working a little bit on the phrase "I am enough."
Yes.
I'm loving that one. And
Yeah.
they're really trying to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people promoting that one, and I think it's absolutely right. It's a lack that we feel that we're not enough. We're not enough to do this. We're not enough to get it done. We're not enough to, and we keep going back to our old ways of. It's kind of like the thermostat on the wall. We've got it set at 70 and it goes down to 55, and we drive it back up to 70, and then it goes up to 90. We drive it to 70, but we have to go. You know what? 70 is not working for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want it at 80. You have to change it. It just keeps. It's so easy to lapse back to what we were doing before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And how to get us out of that. But I think I think these little pieces as we go along, as you accomplish these little goals, like you said, these small goals is what helps us. if the thermometer's set at 70, we set the goal at 72, and then we come to 72. We don't set the goal at 90 because it's just so daunting to get there.
Right,
But
right.
we can make it to 72 this week.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I can make it to 272 this week, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of being in the 70s, I'm very happy about that. But yeah, so focusing on little goals. What I like to do when I feel overwhelmed or if I feel stressed out, is just take one bit at a time. It's you are going, and this goes to this program as well. If your overall goal is to lose 30 pounds or whatever, that can seem very daunting. Um, but it's much easier, and you're going to have a much better headspace, and you're going to be mentally healthier if you just focus on one step at a time, 1 pound at a time. If my schoolwork is getting overwhelming, if I'm like, all right, I have this all right, I have 2 days. I have to write a paper. I have 2 quizzes. I have this and I have that. Plus, I have work and I have planning a wedding and I have
And
planning
this.
and it can. But if you just okay, it's 7:30. I do this. That's done. Move to the next thing. One step at a time. Keeping things in perspective, and keeping those affirmations in your head. To love yourself and that you are enough, it makes all the difference in the world.
And knowing that it's possible. I think the biggest hurdle I see with people in my office is, and they say it over and over, it just kills me, is I can't do it. Everyone else can do it, but I can't do it. And I have to go, you are a human being. I guarantee you, if you stop putting food in your mouth, your body weight will go away. Not that I want people to do that, but it's physics.
Right.
They're a mammal, and this is the way mammals work. Food turns, excess food goes to fat. Under food we use fat.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes it feels like it doesn't work that way, and the
Yeah.
reason why sometimes it feels like it doesn't work that way, and I can speak for myself. Men and women do have different struggles when it comes to losing weight. And one of the biggest struggles that I see from a day-to-day basis, because I know women in my life that are very close friends that are trying to lose weight, and one of the biggest struggles is fluid fluctuation and just watching that scale. Sometimes fluid lies sometimes, and we could be holding a little bit more one day than others, and that's one of the things, and I think we talked about this with monitoring our weight and scales, and not necessarily weighing ourselves every day and getting our body image from what the scale says and from on how we feel and how we look like in the mirror, things like that. That's much more important. But yeah, so.
I get what you're saying. Is we're judging it by the scales as opposed to, if you this is what I'm finding, is because I'm not perfect with the food as well. I mean, especially the weekends. The weekdays are pretty easy because I'm working. So I can really go, okay, I'm going to eat this. This is my 200 calories, and I've got it lined out, and so I can grab it. But on the weekends, grazing, going out to dinner, doing other things. Everybody wants to go have pizza.
Right.
Okay, we'll go have pizza.
There's a new uncommon pizza.
Yeah, that's what we've got
in
a
town.
pizza place here. And there's no alcohol in this town, and
Right.
they serve alcohol, so everybody wants pizza all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but I find it is more difficult on the weekends. But the difference this time to other times is I'm so hard on myself typically. I think we're more strict with ourselves than we are under strict. And because of the strictness or the harshness we put on ourselves, that's when we give up, because you just can't handle the harshness the abuse that we're giving ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't give ourselves credit for how well we can maintain that regimen. I think we don't we don't relapse because we're weak, or we don't relapse because we just couldn't do it. Sometimes we relapse because we were too strong. We were too hard on ourselves. We were too strict.
Rigid.
We were too rigid, and there was no flexibility.
Yeah, and you've also got to live at the same time.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes I want more than 200 calories in a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So not often. Usually it's just fine if you want to know the truth. But every once in a while I'm like, I want a ham sandwich with some chips and a glass of milk, and it's 800 calories. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like I'm asking that much to have a ham sandwich, some chips, and a glass of milk, but it is 800 calories, and I've eaten 1,000 calories already. Yeah. But when I do that, before, what I used to do was, okay, tomorrow I'm going to subtract 500 calories to make up for that 800 calories, which is back to rigid.
Right.
And this time I'm just like, we'll start over tomorrow. I'm not subtracting. I'm not being so harsh on myself that I had a ham sandwich, chips, and that I had 1,200 calories that one meal. Yeah. Fine, get over it. Just start again the next day without abusing myself. Or going, okay, I'm going to make up that 500 calories on the treadmill and this and that and then I fall apart.
Yeah, that mentality, that mindset that you're talking about, that you have now, that sounds like a long-term winning strategy. We talk about how this is, we want to encourage people to make lifestyle changes. It's not sustainable to be counting calories for the rest of your life, for every little thing. If you want to have a little fudge room, hey, you can allow yourself a little bit of fudge room. But it's how often you want to do it.
I don't do that every day. I do that once a week.
Yeah, do it once a week. That's perfectly fine.
That probably puts some variation in my diet, so I don't get into a plateau.
Yeah. So I don't enjoy talking about cheat days, but there is evidence. There is legitimate evidence. The reason why they work is for a multitude of different reasons, but really not allowing your metabolism to get into that starvation mode. If I were to, and this is the example that I give to people, don't go too hard too soon, because I can lose weight with an okay exercise regimen on 2,000 calories per day. But if I start at 15,000 or 1,500, then there's and I hit a plateau, and you inevitably will, because your body becomes so efficient at survival.
You should be proud.
Absolutely, your body's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, right.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
It's not dysfunctional.
Big people survived longer back in the day.
Right.
We should be proud of ourselves.
We're the winners.
We're the survivors. That person who's eating 10,000 calories a day and is real thin, they wouldn't have survived.
They couldn't find 10,000 calories.
Right, exactly. So so there wouldn't be as much room for error. As much room for me to kind of go downward. So what you really want to do is you do want to kind of mix it up, but it can that kind of regimen can confuse some people. Some people might think I can take 1 or 2 days out of the week and just eat whatever I want and have as much of it as I want. And I'm here to tell you, so even it doesn't matter how good you are. 5 or 6 days out of the week, if you have that 1 or 2 days in a week that is completely off the rails, it's going to hinder or eliminate all of your losses,
because they are calories.
Absolutely.
And you pack in 10,000 calories, then it doesn't add up.
You can eat one sandwich worth 2,000 calories, and then
Easy.
that's almost a pound of fat that you're missing out on losing.
Right.
So
I find that with these small meals, I'm really enjoying it because I'm never hungry. But my splurges are not what my splurges were a couple months ago. My splurges a couple months ago was a piece of cake and this and that, a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yeah.
Whereas my splurges now is a ham sandwich and a glass of milk.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different kind of splurge than half a pie and a bag of chips and candy. I don't even want the candy so
Well,
much,
you've kind of
or the
changed.
pie.
You're you're kind of changing your perception of what's a
Perception, that's
yeah.
it.
You're changing your perception of what's a treat.
Yeah,
You know
a treat is a ham
when
sandwich and a bag of
yeah
chips.
when 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 you're eating chef salads and
Yes.
apples and bananas all day every day.
Yeah.
That just some carbs in any form whatsoever, whether it be some toast, some
With
toast.
butter. I'm gonna have this
Honestly,
bread with butter and
honestly, sometimes
yeah.
when
It's
and
funny.
normally this is not a treat for me, but late at night, and I'll give a tip here too about bread and toast, but late at night, a treat for me sometimes is just a slice of wheat toast and some cream cheese.
Yeah.
It's less than 100 calories.
Yeah.
It's got crunch and some carb in it. But yeah, so one trick with food and double cooked food. So one thing about toast, toast is interesting. So obviously bread is a carbohydrate. So, but when we toast bread, the more we cook food, typically for most food, there are exceptions for vegetables, like for iron sequestered in spinach. It's actually easier for our bodies to absorb iron after cooking spinach. But for toast, the more we toast, the less our body really makes any metabolic use of it. It's kind of like you're almost turning it to ash in a way. You're kind of making it completely useless.
Really?
You're just burning it. So you actually limit. It's almost like the diet version of bread in a way is toast.
So we shouldn't be toasting.
You you can toast.
Yeah.
Toast. I would prefer toast, but yeah, it limits the ability for our body to use all of the nutrients. So
Really?
so it's a little freer. It's a little freer,
Yeah.
and the more you toast, the more that effect is. Obviously, you don't want to be eating burnt
Charcoal.
charcoal all the time, but that is kind of one trick. Kind of you know.
So is it good to
making sure-
toast it?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
You want to make it
For-
freer?
For me, or freer as in free calories, as in what's a good way to you're reducing your body's ability to use it. Meaning, so like if that piece of bread is 70 calories, you're
Yeah.
probably only going to be able to use and absorb 20 of it, 20 or 30 of it.
Oh, so that's good.
Yeah, so that's good. It's like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's like a little hack.
Oh, I love toast.
Yeah, like a
I
little
actually
diet
had
hack.
some this morning.
Oh, good.
Toast is my thing. That's why I'm paying very close attention to what you're saying. Toast with some peanut butter on it. I mean, I could literally live on that my
Yeah,
entire life.
so good.
And that is a carb, a good fat, and a good protein.
Absolutely.
And it's about 200 calories.
Yeah, people people don't realize how good of a protein source wheat products are too. If you a good slice of maybe multigrain wheat bread is a source of protein. It's a source of whole grains. It's a source of fiber. So really, really good stuff. And all of the grain products in the United States are fortified and enriched with B vitamins and iron.
Oh.
So
I didn't realize
that's
that.
we're very fortunate, and one of the reasons why iron deficiency anemia is one of the most prevalent diseases in the entire world. Not so in America, because we do that. It's federal regulations that we have to add the B vitamins, niacin, riboflavin, and iron into our foods so that we prevent all of those things. So that's why sometimes if I see children who are a little bit anemic and their parents would like to find ways on how to boost their hemoglobin, their hematocrit, you can all, and their diet is deficient in cereals. You could always give some healthy cereals, low in sugar.
And Cheerios is one of my snacks I have almost
Yeah.
every day because the Cheerio in the canteen downstairs, they come in, it's
Yeah.
130 calories, and then I add the milk to it, and you're looking at a 200-calorie snack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up on cereal, so I love it.
Cereal. I love cereal. I haven't had cereal in so long as a consistent breakfast.
Yeah.
But I do miss it. I do miss it.
And Cheerios is my favorite, which is low in sugar. It's pretty, and oats. And so it's,
Low in sugar, low in cholesterol.
it is processed, but hey, it's 200 calories.
It's so,
And I love it, so it works.
Technically, if I take an apple and I cut it in half, that apple has been processed. There isn't many. So now there's a lot of words that aren't well defined. Obviously, part of my recommendations is always to reduce processed and ultra processed foods, but some of those words aren't very well defined.
Oh.
But obviously, when you see it.
Yeah.
Obviously, kind of thing. If you're buying a frozen pizza,
Yeah.
that's not fresh. That's going to be a processed and ultra processed.
An ultra
food.
processed food.
That's a term that's coming into prominence nowadays.
Oh, that's
is
interesting.
because now we had the processed, now we have the ultra processed foods.
And that's when it's not hardly food anymore.
That's when every single
Like a Twinkie.
ingredient has been processed.
Yeah, like a Twinkie. Oh, every ingredient in its process to get
Yeah,
there.
pretty
Okay,
much.
Yeah, problems.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking to us about this
Yeah,
today.
no problem.
And I want to hear about probiotics and prebiotics next time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not gonna find many of them in processed and ultra processed foods.
That's the downfall of
Yeah.
processed foods. Okay.
Cool.
Well, we're going to talk more about that next week. Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.